Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so today we're looking into this massive phenomenon that just seems to be happening literally everywhere. Have you noticed how our skin seems to be increasingly reacting to just the modern world? Well, we are going to unpack exactly why sensitive skin seems to be showing up more and more, what that term actually means on a biological level, and how our modern daily habits interact with our skin's built-in systems to create all this sensitivity. Our goal today is to build a really wholesome, complete understanding of this entire topic. So let's get into it. Man, it is just deeply frustrating, isn't it? Like, you've been using your absolute favorite cleanser or moisturizer for months with no issues, and then suddenly, completely out of nowhere, it causes this intense burning or stinging sensation. The product itself hasn't changed, so why is ordinary life suddenly irritating your skin? Well, it turns out, to really solve this mystery, we have to stop obsessing over the trigger and start looking at the entire system.
Okay, let's dive into this. Most people kind of use the phrase sensitive skin as this giant catch-all term for absolutely any time their skin feels bad. But sensitive skin is not just one single condition. If you call every itch, flush, or random rash sensitivity, you totally miss what's actually happening under the surface. True sensitivity is really a systemic threshold problem. It is simply skin whose defense and response systems are just way easier to disturb. It's not about a single bad ingredient, it's about a system that has completely lost its buffering capacity.
Section 1. Your skin, your living wall and alarm systems. First up, let's talk about the skin barrier. Your skin acts a lot like a brick wall, right? You've got skin cells as the bricks and natural fats and water-binding substances acting as the mortar. A healthy barrier is like a perfectly sealed container. It keeps all that good moisture locked in and completely blocks out the irritants. But when that mortar wears down, well, it becomes more like an uneven sponge. It leaks water, and it lets in microscopic dust, pollution, and soap residue. That is exactly why a product stings one month and not the last. The product didn't get stronger, your wall just got weaker.
Now, here's where it gets weird. Sometimes your skin looks completely fine, like totally normal, but it burns or itches anyway. That brings us to our second system. The nerves. Your skin contains all these little nerve endings that act as alarm sensors to warn you of actual danger. But when they become overactive, they treat ordinary things like a slight breeze, a little sweat, or even just plain water as huge catastrophic threats. Think of it like a smoke detector. A smoke detector is amazing for keeping you safe, but if it becomes so sensitive that it's blaring every single time you make toast, the alarm is real, but the threshold is just way, way too low.
The third piece of this puzzle is inflammation. Inflammation is basically your body's emergency mode. It's supposed to switch on for injuries and then, crucially, switch back off. But in sensitive skin, it flips on way too easily and just stays on, keeping your skin stuck in this state of low-grade, constant irritation. Imagine you're driving and a car dashboard warning light comes on too early and just will not turn off. The car still drives, sure, but the system is acting like there's a massive problem even when the situation is totally fine. You're just constantly primed for a reaction. And this brilliantly illustrates how all three of these systems actually feed right into each other. When your barrier weakens, your water loss increases, which leaves the skin super dry and exposed. And because it's exposed, those nerve endings get a ton more stimulation, which gives you that awful burning and stinging. Then the tissue reacts, inflammation skyrockets, and the skin becomes even more reactive. And finally, because the inflammation just keeps going, the barrier repairs itself so much slower and the whole cycle just repeats itself. It is literally a continuous, completely frustrating feedback loop. Section 2. The macro. Modern life and cumulative skin stress.
So, our skin is actually constantly negotiating with its environment, trying to balance three things: protection, repair, and reaction. Sensitive skin rises up when this delicate balance shifts. Think about it. When protection weakens, the skin just has to react more. When reaction becomes easier, repair gets so much harder. And when repair gets harder, your protection just weakens even further. It's a first principles idea, really. Modern life doesn't usually hit us with one giant assault. It hits us with a shifting balance of constant, tiny, everyday demands.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how it applies to our modern skincare routines. Today, we layer so many things, right? Cleanser, toner, serum, exfoliants, retinoids. Your skin doesn't read these as separate, helpful little labels. It experiences it all as total exposure. Think of each product like a small speaker in a room. One speaker playing music, totally fine. Two, still okay, but turn on 10 small speakers all at the exact same time and the room becomes overwhelmingly, painfully loud, even if no single speaker is at max volume. That is exactly what excessive product layering does to an already fragile skin barrier.
And on top of what we actively apply, the environment acts as this constant, low-grade background load. Modern air isn't just air anymore. It is completely filled with microscopic pollution particles, urban dust, and the extreme moisture-sucking dryness of indoor air conditioning. Now, none of these alone are going to cause a rash, but they settle on the skin and create a constant demand. If your barrier is already weak, this background load prevents your skin's threshold from ever fully recovering.
Then there are the hidden stressors, the stuff we honestly just completely underestimate. We're talking about physical friction from things like rough towels or pillowcases. Heat, which physically widens your blood vessels and makes flushing so much easier. Sweat, which totally changes the chemical environment on the surface of your skin. And please, do not forget internal emotional stress. Your body absolutely does not separate mental stress from skin health. Emotional stress actively slows down your repair time and keeps those nerve endings firmly on high alert.
Let's look at how this builds in a real-world scenario. Imagine your daily commute in a hot, humid city. Step 1, you commute in the heat, adding stress and sweat. Step 2, because you feel gross and oily, you wash your face frequently, which strips that barrier we talked about. Step 3, now your skin feels tight and dry from washing, so you apply multiple products to fix it, adding to that exposure load. Step 4, the skin becomes more reactive, so you use even more products to try and calm it down, and the whole cycle repeats. These highly logical individual choices totally cascade into massive systemic stress without us even realizing it's happening.
It really all comes down to cumulative load. Imagine a bridge. You place one small weight on it, no problem at all. A few weights, still totally fine. But if you keep adding weights over time, eventually that bridge starts to flex, and then it becomes totally unstable. The bridge isn't weak, it is just operating near its absolute limit from all that cumulative pressure. That is exactly how sensitive skin behaves. It just has less margin before it spills over into redness or burning.
Section 3. The resolution. Reframing your skin's health.
So the absolutely crucial point I want you to take away is this. Sensitive skin rises when the skin's barrier, its alarm system, and its inflammatory response stop cushioning everyday stress and actually start amplifying it instead. Modern life doesn't just magically create sensitivity out of thin air. It reveals and accelerates a system that's already vulnerable, basically by asking it to handle way more stress than it can physically recover from.
I really want to leave you with this question to chew on. We have to stop asking, oh no, what product caused this? And start asking, what lowered your skin's tolerance in the first place so that ordinary life became enough to trigger symptoms? Was it too much cleansing? A damaged barrier? Just a really stressful month at work? Once you understand the underlying system, you stop overreacting to the symptoms and you finally start seeing the pattern. Rebuild your buffering capacity and you rebuild your skin. Thanks so much for diving into this explainer with me and keep learning.